Hi guys, today we are reviewing the latest Saw installment, Saw X. I know the movie was released quite a while ago now and it's not a trend anymore, so I was not sure whether to review it or not. But then I figured, what the hell? I want to let out my frustration with this crap somehow. Okay, so let's start from the beginning. When Saw X was first announced, I was like, wow, seriously? Another one? Why? I mean, I am a big Saw fan, but I just don't see the point after so many failed sequels. But anyway, I watched the trailer regardless, and what do you know? Just what I expected or even worse. No plot, no originality, no inspiration, the same rehashed ideas, and nothing but cliched traps as an excuse to make you watch the movie. In other words, another cash grab. Plain and simple. If before watching the trailer I knew it was going to suck big time, now I was totally sure. But as I said, I am a Saw fan, so I feel obliged to watch every new entry of the franchise. No matter how bad I know it's going to be, so I just watched it. Only, I didn't make the mistake to go to the theater and see it. I did not even rent it whatsoever. No, I didn't spend a single cent because otherwise, my frustration would be even bigger. I watched it on a free site many months later after its release, so no loss other than 2 hours of my life. Anyway, so I watched it with absolutely no expectations at all, and oh boy. It was even worse than I had already imagined, and that's saying much. The trailer pretty much gives away the whole movie, so try to imagine going to see a movie you already know the whole plot of, and on top of that, a bad plot. As I said, it's a cash grab. It doesn't contribute anything to the story. If anything, it only makes it more confusing because it attempts to act as a prequel, and that's the first big issue I have with this movie. They wanted so bad to bring Tobin Bell again as a Jigsaw that is still alive because they know that's what fans wanted to see. And since they have already killed him, the only thing they could come up with is a prequel. But answer me this, how can you make a prequel and have the same actors play the same roles 20 years later? How do you think that's gonna turn out, especially if you didn't even bother using de-aging digital effects? They just said, here, this is Jigsaw 20 years older, but just pretend he looks 20 years younger. Yeah, like pretend this movie is actually good and not a total mess. But let's talk about the plot. This is going to be quick because there is little to none. It's your generic Saw plot. Jigsaw goes to get medical treatment, he gets ripped off by some random guys, and now he wants to exact revenge on them. That's it. It's just an excuse to have people in traps, which is all Saw has focused on in all the sequels. But the question is, are the traps at least any good? No, they aren't. They are the most convoluted, nonsensical, and uninspired shit I've ever seen in a Saw movie. It's like they weren't even trying. The movie also has no thrill, no mystery, no intrigue, nothing. Everything is completely predictable. The characters are there only for the sake of being tortured and killed but have no charisma or likability at all. The antagonist has no interesting motives or even a plan, and the classic Saw twist at the end feels extremely forced and bland. I mean, it doesn't even feel like a twist at all. So after all this rant, are there any redeeming qualities in this horrible mess? Not really. Because though Tobin Bell has a good performance as usual, he is visibly aged, as I mentioned, and it shows. The same goes for Amanda, who is barely recognizable. So it fails as a prequel right from there, as a Saw entry and as a film in general. But you know what made me angrier than anything? The fact that this movie, as horrible as it was still a big hit. Yeah, not only at the box office, but it was praised by fans and critics alike as being the greatest Saw sequel of all time. I mean, are you shitting me? What were they on crack or something when they watched this piece of shit? Such a hit that now Saw 11 has been announced. Like, what's wrong with this fucking world? As I mentioned, I am a big Saw fan, but that doesn't prevent me from seeing that the original saga is all wrapped up. It's long done, finished. There's nothing else to tell, so just leave it alone. I only see two ways this can continue. One is by picking up from where Saw 7 left off. Have a new set of characters that carry on with the legacy, a new killer and apprentices. It could even be Dr. Gordon and other survivors from the previous games. But Jigsaw could only be back in flashbacks or recordings, and if you were going to show his face, definitely use de-aging effects. The only other way I can think of and since many fans want to see Jigsaw alive again and going back to basics, is by making a direct sequel to Saw 2 and retconning Part 3 where he dies as well as the rest. But again, if you are going to have Tobin Bell and the other cast reprise their roles, you need de-aging effects. Otherwise, it just won't work. But I really doubt they are willing to spend most of the budget de-aging such a number of characters throughout the entire movie. So, now it's time for the verdict. Does Saw 10 suck or rock? Oh god, is this an easy one? Well, just in case you haven't figured it out yet, simply put, it sucks major balls. Avoid it at any cost if you haven't had the misfortune of watching it already. That's it, now I feel a little more relieved. Thanks for hearing me out, and see you next time for another installment of Suck or Rock.